welcome everyone. Thank you for taking the time out on this beautiful evening to come out and sit through our council meeting before we get to the state of the city, the first state of the city we've done in the history of Lyndhurst. We'll start off tonight with the regular meeting of the Board of Control of the City of Lyndhurst for Monday, May 6, 2019. May I roll call, please?
Mr. Schlessel.
Here.
Mr. Price.
Here.
Mr. Gambatis. Mr. Bruschetsky.
Here.
Mr. Marco.
Here.
Mr. Lepresti.
Here.
Mr. Fry.
Here. Will you all join us this evening in saying the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda this evening for the Board of Control is to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of Board of Control held Monday, April 15th, 2019.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we dispense with the full reading of the minutes and they stand approved as circulated.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is to review and approve assessments for nuisance abatement.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we approve the nuisance abatement, total cost $1,701.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is award of contracts.
For the 2019 asphalt program, 6 bids were received on May 3rd, 2019 for the rebid of the program ranging from $956,874.95 to $1,082,364.84. The city engineer recommends award of project to Specialized Construction Incorporated for $956,874.95. In addition to this award, he recommends the appropriation of $10,000 for construction administration costs.
Move to approve.
I have a motion and a second for awarding the asphalt program contracts. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
2 bids were received on May 3rd, 2019 for the 2019 sidewalk repair program ranging from $238,029.76 to $248,958. The city engineer recommends award to FP Allegra Concrete Construction Corp. for a cost of $238,029.76. In addition to this award, he recommends the appropriation of $8,000 for construction administration and testing costs.
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second for approval of the sidewalk program. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Next is the approval of purchase requisitions.
For Allman Oil Company, additional fuel for second quarter 2019 snow removal for $830.
Move to approve. Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
For Wausau Tile Incorporated for the concrete waste receptacles with city logo approved in the 2019 capital budget for $10,184.44.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
For Marshall Equipment, the Exmark lawnmower is approved in the 2019 capital budget for $12,159.
Move to approve. Second.
I have another motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
For BFI Waste Systems of Ohio, additional rubbish disposal for first quarter 2019 for $3,519.91.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
For Cleveland Freightliner for the 2020 Freightliner cab and chassis with dump body and salt spreader for $155,345.
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
Move to adjourn Board of Control. Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn Board of Control. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we will adjourn into a regular meeting of council for Monday, May 6, 2019. May I roll call again, please?
Mr. Schlessel.
Here.
Mr. Price.
Here.
Mr. Gambatis. Mr. Bruschetsky.
Here.
Mr. Marco.
Here.
Mr. Lepresti.
Here.
Mr. Fry.
Here. We'll make note that Mr. Gambatis is away on business this evening, therefore his absence is excused. Before we get into the rest of the council meeting, we're going to change a couple things up relative to our normal agenda so we can get to the state of the city sooner rather than later. This evening there will be no committee reports as part of the council's normal agenda, and any public comment during the actual council meeting should be held relative to any legislation that's on the agenda this evening. I believe there will be a question and answer period. not to the state of the city. So, first on council's agenda is the approval of meeting minutes of the regular meeting of council held Monday, April 15th, 2018.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we dispense with full reading of the minutes and they stand approved as circulated.
Second. I have a motion and a second for approval of the meeting minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the swearing in of the new chief of police for the city of Lyndhurst.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Last week, on the 30th of April, our former chief of police, Rick Perello, after a 33-year career for the city of Lyndhurst, retired. He was chief for 10 years and did so very well. He has realized that it is a great pleasure to walk around with only one telephone and one set of keys, and he managed to get his lawn cut today. So he's very happy and he's with us this evening, and Chief, welcome. And this evening, Patrick Brody is being sworn in as chief, a role he and I decided has been fulfilled by fewer than 10 individuals in our city's 102 years. Patrick was raised in South Euclid, graduated from Gilmore Academy and Allegheny College, and worked counseling emotionally disturbed children before pursuing a career in law enforcement. Patrick joined the department in 1995. He was promoted to sergeant in 2002 and lieutenant in 2009. In 2011, he received assignment as executive lieutenant of the department behind Chief Perello. In his career, he's held numerous positions with the department and as a member of our regional span SWAT team. In 2005, he graduated from the 10-week School of Police Staff and Command, administered by the Northwestern University Center for Public Safety. And in 2018, he completed the FBI's Law Enforcement Executive Development course. He enjoys running and is a regular participant in the Law Enforcement Torch Run, which raises funds for the Special Olympics. He's joined this evening by his wife, Chris. And Chris, if you want to join us up here, and his parents, Noreen and Ray, along with a whole bevy of friends and family, who, ladies and gentlemen, it's not because of something we said, they are going to adjourn to a little refreshment directly following. So, Patrick.
I, Patrick Brody,
Do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution
that I will uphold the
of the
Constitution
United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the
the
Constitution and statutes
Constitution and
of the
statutes
State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
the mission,
mission,
policies, and procedures
policies, and
of the
procedures
Lyndhurst Police Department,
of the Lyndhurst Police Department,
and the charter and ordinance
and the charter and ordinance
of the City of Lyndhurst,
of the City of Lyndhurst.
and that I shall fairly,
I shall fairly,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
discharge the duties of chief
discharge the duties of chief
in the Lyndhurst Police
in the
Department.
Lyndhurst Police Department.
Congratulations.
And before they segue out, though, I do want to call to attention a little special presentation that we have. About 20 years ago, the residents of the city of Lyndhurst and a number of the communities in northeastern Ohio decided to vote to aggregate for the purchase of electric and gas services, and NOPEC was chosen as our aggregator. NOPEC has been a great partner to the city and to the northeastern Ohio, as well as broadening their footprint into the state. They've been a great advocate down in Columbus, arguing for lower prices, and really the competition has saved all of our residents money and residents across northeast Ohio money. The cost for energy in our state of Ohio is much less because we have aggregation and because we have NOPEC. And periodically, NOPEC recognizes the service of a public official or a public servant. And this evening, we are going to recognize Chief Michael Carroll, actually. And so Nicole Sweet from NOPEC is going to join us, and she's going to make a presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. So thank you very much for that. But NOPEC has been in existence since 2000. We are the aggregation arm. We operate under Ohio Revised Code and by regulation of the PUCO, Public Utilities Commission of Ohio. Today we are 235 communities in Northeast Ohio, in which the great city of Lyndhurst has been a member of NOPEC since 2001, so you're one of our founding members. Along with our cost savings for energy, we have a lot of membership benefits, grants, in which the city of Lyndhurst has been able to benefit from that. We sponsor events. We provide financing for energy efficiency projects. And about 3 years ago, we started this acknowledgement program to recognize, for our mayors and our city council to recognize prodigious staff members. And we came last year and recognized the finance director. I think it was a very moving presentation. And today, we will honor your fire chief. So thank you very much. And I'll let you finish the rest of the presentation. Okay, so the Fire Chief Michael Carroll is the chairman of the Cuyahoga County Emergency Services Advisory Board, where he works tirelessly to elevate the activities of those in fire service and law enforcement. He joined the city of Lyndhurst Fire Department in 1994. In 2003, he was promoted to the rank of lieutenant and then captain in 2007. Chief Carroll holds a master's in public administration from Cleveland State University. And on behalf of Mayor Patrick Ward and the esteemed members of council, those who live and work in the city of Lyndhurst and the Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, we recognize you for your service.
Chief Rohde doesn't get one of those. And this basically reiterates that Chief Michael Carroll is a well-respected individual in the city of Lyndhurst and across our region. He works tirelessly to elevate the activities of those in fire service and law enforcement. Wants to quietly segue out for refreshments, we can let you do that, unless you want to stay for the speak. Good. And if anybody wants to move toward the front, that's perfectly fine.
All right, good evening, Mayor, Council, residents, friends, and family, since we got a lot of that here. I bring you greetings from the South Lyndhurst Board of Education. Monthly, for those of you who don't come out, we do give a report every month at the city council meeting, so I'm here doing my regular. So first, I just wanted to say, on your way out, if you have a moment, there are a few handouts on the table if you would like to take some of those with you that I'm going to reference a little bit. We just wanted to bring you greetings and let you know that the South Lyndhurst schools are still in the midst of an incredible amount of student successes at all levels. Our district has maintained the quality of education, and we continue to do that, oftentimes with receiving less. Although we do get less, we don't distribute less to our families, our students, and our district communities. We tend to operate with less, with the same pie, but we just choose to cut it a little differently to get the results. So So having the freedom to be able to do that and be trusted by our community is something that we value a lot. So we just want to take a moment to say thank you to the mayor and council and the city officials and the residents. First, just a couple things about our buildings. Our high school currently this year, we've tabulated our class of 2018 has earned nearly $6 million in scholarships and grants. At our high school, we consider ourselves to be able to hang in there with those parochial schools. Currently, we offer 14 advanced placement classes for our students, including biology, chemistry, physics, art studio, and calculus. In addition to that, we also offer 25 career technical programs available for the students through the Excel Tech program. At Memorial, we like to think also in our district that we are here to service the entire child, the families, and the parents. So we try to keep our minds open to the fact that all students might not be college ready. So we're training them to be college ready, career ready, and or technical ready. At Memorial, every 7th grade student is offered a technology elective to help promote the STEM projects. I don't know if you had a chance to visit the Memorial building. We just launched a makerspace where we are highlighting our 3D printers and other technologies to help the students get ready through project-based learning. We also have over 300 students that are involved in co-curriculars and athletics. At our Greenview building, despite of, and we'll go here, what the state report card says, our students have earned 85% as far as the measurable objectives, which allows us to say and proudly say that we perform above expected levels for performance. Greenview has also excelled to meet the gifted indicator. So we have a large percentage of gifted students there on our state report card as well. And most importantly, we value our teachers and our administrators. 77% of all Greenview teachers have earned a master's degree or advanced placement degree. So as you think about who's in those buildings taking care of your students, they're just as thrived on learning as they are to the students that they teach. Our Sunview 3rd graders scored 82% on the statewide test last year. And we also, when we think of educating the entire child, we are pleased that we partner at Sunview with consulting organizations that present projects and opportunities for parents to have workshops to learn how to help us educate their child. Over at Adrian, all 278 of our students participate in STEM labs. That is something interesting because a lot of school districts don't focus on the younger students, they focus on the older ones. Over at Rowland, all of our K-3 students as well participate in STEM projects. And a lot of people might not know, but we have a preschool over at Rowland. And it is a 5-star award winner through the county, and we serve students ages 3 to 5. The biggest thing that we do at our district as well is fiscal responsibility. I report here every month to you guys about how fiscally responsible we are. I just want to take a moment to kind of break it down. We have had this last levy last us 8 years. Dating all the way back to 1960, the average levy cycle was 3 years. I think that's something important to think about. We've been able to stretch it that long, and that is more than 2 times the average length of the typical levies. So I think that's something we and you all as residents should be very proud of, that the fiscal responsibility of the district has always been a #1 focus, and it has been proven. The one thing I do have to say as well, it's one thing to stretch money, but it's another thing to have a leader with a vision that allows you the opportunity to find the mechanisms in place to stretch the levy. So I always say thank you to you all, but I have to take a moment to thank my superintendent. She has a vision that is phenomenal. And I want you to know she is the leader of the kids in this school district that are being taught. And she is a leader that we trust. So she hates to be put on the spot, but when you can stand in a room full of people and say that you've allowed a levy and you've helped and contributed to the vision of a levy to last 8 years when your regular cycle since 1960 is every 3 years, that is phenomenal to me, and that is why we continue to allow her to lead us. So I thank you tonight for letting me still present my report when you don't have any committees. I feel honored, and I thank you guys again, and I hope to see you.
Good, thank you, Cassandra. Any requests for additions to the agenda this evening? None? We will move on to public comment. Again, if you have a public comment this evening, please keep it geared toward any of the legislation that's on the agenda. Otherwise, if it's just a general comment, we're going to take questions and answers after the state of the city. All right, seeing none, we will move on to our ordinances and legislation for this evening, starting with ordinance 2019-36.
Ordinance number 2019-36 is an ordinance to make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Lyndhurst for the period ending December 31st, 2019, repealing ordinance number 2019-24, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move for suspension of the rules for ordinance number 2019-36. I'll ask that it be highlighted and placed on third reading for passage this evening.
Is there a second? Second. I have a motion and a second for suspension of the rules on ordinance 2019-36. May I roll call, please?
Mr. Schlessel.
Aye.
Mr. Price.
Aye.
Mr. Grzebski.
Aye.
Mr. Marco.
Aye.
Mr. Lopresti.
Aye.
Mr. Fry.
Aye.
To provide for the current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Lyndhurst for the period beginning January 1st, 2019 and ending December 31st, 2019, the following sums be appropriated. For the general fund, increased by $14,550. For the debt services fund, there was an increase for $5,686,726. For the capital projects funds, there was an increase for $5,543,700. For a grand total of all funds, $39,755,442. This ordinance is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the public peace, health, and safety for further reason that is necessary to immediately make appropriations herein in order that the city can properly function and meet its obligations currently. Wherefore, this ordinance shall take effect immediately upon the passage by the affirmative vote of not less than 5 members elected to council and approval by the mayor, and otherwise from and after the earliest time allowed by law.
Move to adopt.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for adoption of ordinance 2019-36. May I roll call?
Mr. Schlessel.
Aye.
Mr. Price.
Aye.
Mr. Grzebski.
Aye.
Mr. Marco.
Aye.
Mr. Lopresti.
Aye.
Mr. Fry.
Aye. Next is ordinance 2019-37.
Ordinance number 2019-37 is an ordinance authorizing transfers and advances and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move for the suspension of the rules for ordinance number 2019-37, as that it be highlighted and placed on third reading for passage.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for suspension of the rules on ordinance 2019-37. May I roll call?
Mr. Schlessel.
Aye.
Mr. Price.
Aye.
Mr. Grzebski.
Aye.
Mr. Marco.
Aye.
Mr. Lopresti.
Aye.
Mr. Fry.
Aye.
The following additional transfer is hereby authorized and approved from the Bond Retirement Fund to the Capital Reserves Fund in an amount not to exceed $5,543,700. This ordinance is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the health, safety, and welfare of the residents of the city of Lyndhurst for the reason that it affects the day-to-day financial operations of the municipality and is necessary to maintain accurate and proper records. Therefore, this ordinance shall take effect immediately upon the affirmative vote of not less than 5 members elected to council and signature by the mayor, otherwise at the earliest time allowed by law.
Move to adopt.
I have a motion and a second for adoption of ordinance 2019-37. May I roll call?
Mr. Schlessel.
Aye.
Mr. Price.
Aye.
Mr. Grzebski.
Aye.
Mr. Marco.
Aye.
Mr. Lopresti.
Aye.
Mr. Fry.
Aye. Next is a resolution number 2019-38.
Resolution number 2019-38 is a resolution authorizing the mayor to amend the construction management agreement with Green Space Construction Services to provide construction manager at risk services in connection with the Lyndhurst Fire Station expansion and renovation project by accepting the guaranteed maximum price and declaring it an emergency.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move for suspension of the rules for resolution 2019-38. I'll ask that it be highlighted and placed on third reading for passage this evening.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for suspension of the rules on resolution 2019-38. May I roll call?
Mr. Schlessel.
Aye.
Mr. Price.
Aye.
Mr. Grzebski.
Aye.
Mr. Marco.
Aye.
Mr. Lopresti.
Aye.
Mr. Fry.
Aye.
By the adoption of resolution number 2018-11 on February 19, 2018, the mayor was authorized and directed to negotiate an agreement for construction manager at risk services with Green Space Construction Services. The agreement was negotiated and executed between the parties and is now necessary to amend said agreement to set and accept the guaranteed maximum price of $4,413,976.29. The mayor is authorized and directed to execute said amendment. This resolution is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the health, safety, and welfare of the residents of the city of Lyndhurst, Ohio, for the reason that it is necessary to amend the aforesaid agreement and to begin construction without delay, so as to complete the construction as soon as possible. Therefore, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon the passage by the affirmative vote of not less than 5 members elected to council and signature by the mayor, otherwise in the earliest time allowed by law.
Move to adopt.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for adoption of Resolution 2019-38. Roll call.
Mr. Schlessel.
Aye.
Mr. Price.
Aye.
Mr. Krasinski.
Aye.
Mr. Marco.
Aye.
Mr. Lopresti.
Aye.
Mr. Fry.
Aye. Next up is Traffic Directive 165.
Pursuant to recommendations by the Lyndhurst Police Department, due to construction, place a sign, fire exit do not block, between the driveway of 1432 Irene and the north drive of the municipal lot on Irene. Directive is rescinded once drive is no longer a fire exit.
Move approved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve Traffic Directive number 165. All in favor?
Aye.
Next is Traffic Directive 166.
Pursuant to recommendations by the Lyndhurst Police Department, as a result of no further needed, remove the no parking 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. signs from in front of 5184 and 5188 Cheltenham.
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second on approval of Traffic Directive 166. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we adjourn our meeting, our council meeting this evening, and we move directly into the state of the city by Mayor Wood.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn council and adjourn into the state of the city address. All in favor?
Aye.
We'll move into the middle. Well, good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our very first State of the City address. I'm happy we were able to time this presentation so that you could witness some of the workings of our Lyndhurst City Council. While this evening's council agenda was somewhat abbreviated, the tempo of the meetings are generally conducted on a good pace, mainly because our council comes to their meetings prepared to address the business of the city, and partly out of respect for those who attend the meetings. The public wants to see progress, not posturing, and that is exactly our council's approach. Our elected council representatives take their service to you and to our community seriously. They put the interests of our residents and Lyndhurst first and are committed to service before self. This approach is absolutely not the norm in local politics, and I appreciate greatly the passion for our community that our council brings. I too wish to be respectful of your time. So in closing, okay, just kidding. A resident recently commented to me that I don't get to read much about Lyndhurst in the news. And my reply was, well, maybe the media thinks we're boring. Our council meetings get to the point, our council tries not to bicker, and the business of the city gets done. That being said, it is not an indication that everything is a slam dunk or that we see eye to eye on every issue. But ladies and gentlemen, disagreements do not need to be disagreeable, and it is disagreeable that makes the news. I approach the drafting of this evening's address kind of a little past, present, future framework, as it is hard to grasp where we are without some appreciation for where we've been, and that knowledge helps us gain some appreciation for the direction we are or should be headed. On August 7th, 2017, our city celebrated the centennial of its incorporation as a village. It was a celebration not only of a milestone, but of a way of life. A way of life in a family, community of neighbors, where our residents come to live, to raise their families, and to enjoy growing old. And in Lyndhurst, that, ladies and gentlemen, is a whopping 88 years. Lyndhurst government has been built upon a strong foundation. In spite of periodic hiccups, leadership has been, for the most part, fiscally minded and thoughtful. Certainly there have been times where politics have made getting things done a little more difficult, but that type of governance is something that our residents have shown little tolerance for. Since 2006, our city council and our city administration have had a focus driven to deliver services to you as efficiently and effectively as possible. We have, with the help of our very capable finance staff, managed to stay ahead of some of the problems, or at least soften their impact on our bottom line. We have been able to forecast many issues or threats and have taken a proactive approach to protect our city. Threats such as the housing and mortgage crisis, the challenged economy, and harmful reductions in local government support from Columbus have been met head-on. Our active participation with local, regional, and statewide organizations has been key to us staying out in front of many challenges and give our city a much stronger voice when arguing against threats to our collective quality of life. Internally, we have been creative and forward-thinking as well. Through the adoption of an early retirement incentive program, we were able to introduce automated systems which allow us to deliver the same high level of service more efficiently while greatly reducing the cost of labor. We have, with the assistance of our employees, managed our health and benefit costs. By strategically paying off debt, the city has been long-term debt-free since 2012. We have, however, maintained visibility in the financial and rating markets by borrowing $1 million each year for our road programs and then paying that back. It is a strategy that has proven smart, as I will point out later. We budget tightly, spend wisely, and look for every opportunity to save your tax dollars. We consistently look for grant opportunities to assist us in maintaining our infrastructure, to procure needed equipment, to improve our community, or to provide programs. Our engineering and other departments pursue grant funding diligently. Last year, we were awarded over $200,000 in grant funds for equipment and community outreach, and another $1,200,000 in grant funds earmarked toward specific road, sewer, and water main projects in the city. That is a lot of financial resource coming to Lyndhurst, and that directly benefits us all. Each and every day, our employees venture forth in their various capacities to serve you, to safeguard our community, to protect your health, your property, and our way of life. Their tasks are mostly routine, but there are also risks. We help prepare for those risks by providing our Lyndhurst employees with training, with the best equipment available, and with as much support possible. Our employees have two tasks: to serve you to the best of their training and ability, and to be representative of our community. They know that in their service, they are the face of Lyndhurst, and they, each and every one, really do try to rise to the highest of standards daily. Are we perfect? Not always, but we do indeed make every effort to aspire to the highest level of public service and consistently review our actions and operations to that standard. Our service department of 22 full and 6 part-time employees delivers beyond what is expected for trash and snow removal, recycling, and tending to the other needs of a manicured community. Our staff has members well trained as arborists, in aquatic facilities and chemistry, in groundskeeping and plantings, in sewer maintenance and repair, in road maintenance and assessment, and in the technical maintenance of our complex fleet of vehicles and equipment. Last year, we collected over 5,600 tons of trash, and our recycling programs diverted over 4,000 tons of collected items and yard waste from landfills, which is huge. Our personnel responded to 600 sewer complaints. They care for nearly 8,000 trees and keep over 100 lane miles of roadway clear of ice and snow, to highlight just a few of their activities. Watching how our personnel have blossomed in their roles over my many years has been a wonder. Our service director is now a board member of the Northeast Ohio Service Directors Association, which is an important position and elevates our involvement with our sister communities, which is useful when we are shopping as a group for contracts or even when we need to borrow a piece of equipment, and much more. Looking at the activities of our police and fire, what our budget refers to as safety and security of persons and property, it is one of our most important tasks and most costly, as it is called upon 24/7, 365 days a year. The number of disciplines our police and fire personnel are trained and expert in is extensive and inclusive. Through partnerships with other communities, we can deliver or participate in every high-tech skill set, and our employees are held in high regard for their leadership, their abilities, and their training. Our Chief of Fire, as you heard earlier, is the chairman of the County Emergency Services Advisory Board. I am on that body as well. I'm also chair of our Suburban Police Anti-Crime Network, or SPAN, which is a collaborative effort of 5 communities to equip and provide SWAT, bomb squad, and other special law enforcement services. One of our officers is the commander of the SPAN Drug Enforcement Unit. We recognize the reality that one community cannot afford to provide, equip, and staff every specialty skill set, even though we need them. So these collaborations are vital for Lyndhurst and for our region. Recently, our Chief of Police, Rick Perello, retired after a 33-year career with Lyndhurst, 10 as Chief. This evening, you witnessed the installation of our new Chief, Patrick Rohde, and I am confident he will soon become integral to regional security efforts as well. Chief Rohde has taken command of a department comprised of 29 full-time sworn officers, 2 sworn part-time officers, and 22 non-sworn dispatchers and auxiliary officers who work according to the mission to protect and serve all with integrity. The department responded to well over 7,000 calls for service and assisted other law enforcement agencies on over 400 calls last year. Simply put, they're busy. One of the great community initiatives our police department suggested is hosting a National Night Out event the first Tuesday in August. We will have our 3rd annual National Night Out on Tuesday, August 6th. These events were designed to build positive relationships between police departments and the community. But we have turned that concept into a real occasion that showcases all of our departments and partner organizations at a fun, free community event. Please plan to come on August 6th. We will entertain you, we will feed you, and we will provide you a great opportunity to see many pieces of police, fire, and service equipment. There will be free ice cream and probably rocket ship rides too. Our fire department consists of 26 full-time firefighter paramedics who in 2018 responded to nearly 2,600 calls, most of which were medically related. Most of our patient transports are to Hillcrest, but we do, depending upon circumstances, transport to all area hospitals. The department had well over 300 back-to-back calls last year, and that is a growing trend. In addition to emergency services, our personnel provide community CPR training, car seat installation, a residential Knox box program, and general public education. To maintain certifications, our firefighters complete over 5,200 hours of in-service training each year. They are good at and serious about what they do. Our housing stock, it represents one of our greatest assets and our residents' greatest investment. Assuring the protection of that value falls largely to our building department. Our commissioners, our inspectors and staff work tirelessly to stay on top of maintenance issues, the registration of rental properties, and the few vacant homes we do have in our community, and inspections. Our council has diligently provided the legislative direction and support to back up these efforts, giving our employees the tools and solutions necessary so the expectations of all property owners are clearly spelled out and that remedies exist in situations where an owner falls short. On the positive side, at the suggestion of one of our very engaged residents, and she's in the room this evening, we instituted a Property of Distinction Recognition program, which sees one property in each of the city's 4 wards recognized in the months of June, July, and August. A resident who suggested this to me supposed that if the city had means to cite owners who did not take good care of a property, it should also make an effort to call attention to those who take extra good care without prodding, so that those properties could be held out as an inspiration for us all. It was a great idea, and it's been very well received over the years. If any of you see such a property in your neighborhood, please do let your councilman know so it could be considered. Last year, the building department oversaw $11.5 million in new construction, issued $150,000 in permits, registered nearly 700 contractors, and managed the sidewalk and rental registration programs. I cannot stress enough the importance of checking in with our building department before hiring a contractor to see if they're registered, and especially before paying any money. We partner with the Cleveland Restoration Society's Heritage Home Program, which provides residents free technical assistance, contractor referral, and contract review. This program also provides access to lower interest loans for qualifying projects. We also have a great relationship with Community Housing Solutions. It is a nonprofit that has done some amazing and transformative work for low or moderate income residents at no cost, which is more than a blessing. Collaboration is so very important, and information on these programs is available on our website or by contacting our building department. We have all heard the saying that money makes the world go around, and so it is true for Lyndhurst. Not one thing can be accomplished without funding, and there can be no funding without proper budgeting, accounting, and reporting. In this regard, our finance department excels. Our Director of Finance and her staff keep us well balanced in every regard and consistently receive awards from the Auditor of State for their management and reporting of our city's finances. Our Director of Finance is extremely well regarded among her peers. She also serves as a member of the board of the Regional Income Tax Agency. One of our residents on Friday referred to her as phenomenal. Our Assistant Director just finished a 4-year term on the board of the Municipal Finance Officers Association, including one as president. He too, a very well-respected professional. We are so very, very fortunate to have that kind of expertise and respect for the professionals that work here. We're very, very fortunate. You have no idea. It is important for you, ladies and gentlemen, to know that our community is on solid financial footing, and it is more important for you to realize how hard we work to keep it so. Budgets are studied closely by our council and its committees, line by line, department by department, and their experienced input is invaluable. Once council adopts the budget framework, it is up to my administrative department heads to manage those funded programs in order to return as much as possible unspent at the end of each year, and they've been doing a fine job. It is a team effort, and I appreciate everyone's active participation in the process. If you get the sense that I'm just a little proud of our employees and the things they are able to do or get done for our residents in the course of their work and for our council's support of these efforts, well, good, because I am. Our employees go out of their way to make us proud, and they work very hard not to disappoint. Throughout this presentation, you've heard reference to our collaboration with others. Collaboration in partnership is something I take very seriously, and it is something I promote our active engagement in. But collaboration is nothing new to Lyndhurst. 41 years ago, we partnered with the cities of South Euclid and Highland Heights to form the Tri-City Consortium on Aging, an organization that has thrived. In 2012, with the addition of Mayfield Heights and Mayfield Village, the name was changed to the Community Partnership on Aging. The services CPA offers are extensive and important to our communities at a time when more and more of our residents are living longer and needing to age in their own homes. Our Executive Director, Wendy, is back there in the back, is with us this evening. She's doing a fantastic job. I'm the chair of the Council of Governments that oversees CPA. I'm also a board member and treasurer of the Senior Transportation Connection that serves the senior population here and across our county. Collaboration, it's important. Our city also maintains active engagement with our South Euclid schools. The Board of Education, as you heard this evening, has a place on our City Council's agenda and reports regularly. Members of our City Council and I participated with the board and other stakeholders in both strategic planning efforts. We have a full-time school resource officer assigned to work with our schools, and we actively look for opportunities to be supportive. Superintendent Reed and I are part of a group of school superintendents and mayors working to influence how students are tested and how performance is rated. This group is leveraging every bit of influence and lobbying ability to inspire change to a system that everyone, including the Ohio Department of Education, refers to as flawed. Accountability is a must, but equity should absolutely be an expectation. Superintendent, as you saw earlier, is with us this evening, and this evening's presentation is being recorded by Riley from our Brush AV department, so thank you very much. Through my relationship with the Metro Health System, we have been presented an opportunity for our school, city, and court personnel to receive training on trauma and adverse childhood experiences, which will dovetail into so many initiatives that I see our district staff have been implementing over the years. Our SEL schools can and do provide an excellent product and do produce college or career-ready graduates, but they must and do rise daily to the challenges of family and societal issues whenever and however they are presented. Our collaboration is very important. Our city of Lyndhurst is the home of the Lyndhurst Municipal Court, and I really must call attention to the efforts of Judge Dominic Coletta, who is with us this evening. Judge. And his great staff to update many court processes, which have in turn saved Lyndhurst and 5 other member communities money. I hope you all read Judge Coletta's report in the last magazine issue, where these were outlined. Additionally, there are plans to upgrade the court's computer software, for which the court was just awarded a $100,000 grant, savings that all 6 communities get to share. Congratulations, Your Honor, and thank you. Collaboration is important, and with your court, a privilege. We partner with our area hospitals on any number of initiatives to improve the health of our community, to improve the responsiveness of our personnel, to evaluate our performance against our peers, to provide regular training for our employees, and to shape protocols that keep us consistent and on task, no matter to which hospital facility we are transporting. Every standard, every training, every protocol is designed to optimize outcomes for those patients we are responding to. When seconds matter, knowing what the best practice is, as recommended by the best medical directors and specialists in the world, is critical. And that collaboration, it really matters. In addition to the previously mentioned board and committee positions I hold in my spare time, I am a member of the executive board of the Cuyahoga County Mayors and City Managers Association, the vice chair of the Suburban Council of Governments for the Regional Sewer District, a member of the board of the Heights Hillcrest Regional Chamber of Commerce, president of the Hillcrest Council of Councils. I've worked with the Greater Than Heroin organization for over 3 years, and recently was asked to join a small group of mayors working with our county director of regional collaboration to brainstorm ways the county can best serve the suburban communities. My wife says I need a hobby. Of course, I would never be able to manage my schedule without the help of my assistant, Clarice White, who is very often the face and the voice of my office. Thank you, Mrs. White. Even my wife schedules through her. She's just like, tell Patty's got it. Of course, while on the subject of collaboration, I must call attention to our relationships with our U.S. Congressman Dave Joyce, our State Senator Matt Dolan, and our newly elected State Representative Phil Robinson, along with their staffs. What I have been able to count on over the years with Dave and Matt is tremendous access to hear what our needs or concerns are, along with great responsiveness and advocacy for those concerns. Phil, although new, has hit the ground running, reaching out immediately with his contact information, asking me and my colleague mayors for our opinions on issues, and showing a true desire to do a seriously great job. I know Phil will continue to be accessible and responsive to our needs. I am thankful for their engaged representation of Lyndhurst and our region. We've got Katie from Dave Joyce's office. Is anyone here from Matt's or Phil's? Okay. And this evening we also have our county councilwoman, Sunny Simon, with us this evening. Another great relationship that we have, and again, we have to leverage these relationships for the best that we can get for our community. In order to best meet the needs of our residents, we maintain close ties with our utility partners, and I personally try to interact with their crews when they are working in our city. I want to be sure they know we appreciate their responsiveness, as that gesture might resonate should they be called back to Lyndhurst again. Cleveland water crews are well accustomed to me sticking my head in their excavations, and the First Energy linemen are afraid I'll climb a pole to check their work. You did meet our NOPEC representative, Nicole Sweet, this evening, and we appreciate all of our utility partners because they do enable us and give us access to good information about outages, pricing, and restoration efforts. They do help us solve problems, and so I greatly appreciate their efforts on behalf of our residents. In my many years here, we have met the operational needs of our community by building a new service garage, expanding the second floor of the municipal center to accommodate the operations of our police department and municipal court. We've built this beautiful community center and the Lyndhurst Aquatic Center. We converted the closed Brainerd Pool into the Brainerd Spray Park, and we have consistently seen to it that these facilities are well maintained. As I mentioned earlier, we are long-term debt-free. Many of you may have read that we will soon begin to reconstruct and renovate our fire station, a project that has been on the burner for 25 years and under active planning for 5. There are renderings and a model of City Hall showing the new fire station apparatus bays with the new second floor on the table over here to my right. Planning for this project prompted our City Council to allow us to engage a construction manager at risk last year and to authorize the funding for the construction through the sale of bonds last month. The construction manager at risk model required the manager to provide us with a guaranteed maximum price for this project, a project we have spent years designing. Basically, this means if we build the project as we have planned and put on paper, the price they have committed to us will not be exceeded. This was extremely important for council and for me to have locked in because as much as we do need this improvement for the well-being of our fire employees and the efficient operation of a 21st century fire department, we need the stability of a guaranteed price tag just as much. Thanks to our finance director and our advisors, we went to market for financing at a maximum 15-year term, but with the potential to pay off bonds at any time before term without penalty. The early call feature, again, was a very important feature for us to have. As I've said, we have been long-term debt-free since 2012, but our yearly borrowing for road improvements and yearly payoff of those notes has shown our track record not only of the ability to pay back debt, but continuous investment in infrastructure, something rating bureaus pay attention to as well. This track record brought much interest in our offering, and we received the terms we hoped for at a very favorable rate. Now, we do hear quite frequently from our residents that we pay high taxes. It is a very true statement. What many do not understand, however, is how those property tax dollars are distributed. The bulk of our property tax dollars go to our local schools and to the county, and the city of Lyndhurst only receives 12 cents for every dollar we pay. By the way, fire station improvements will be paid for within this 12 cents and nothing more. I've long said it is my administration, your council's mission to give you $1.25 in value for every one of those 12 cents we receive, and we will continue to do so. We have made efforts to improve our connectivity and our outreach to you. We have our weekly e-news, our website, our Lyndhurst Life magazine is published 3 times a year, and events such as the Mayor's Young at Heart, our summer concert series, the National Night Out, Home Day, and our council coffee events where all city departments are featured. We also have a Facebook page, and our technology folks have signed us up for Instagram and Twitter. But I don't tweet, so don't look for that anytime soon. We are always available to you via email, and the old-fashioned telephone works great too. We also encourage and participate in block parties, which are awesome occasions that more and more neighborhoods are sponsoring. Our council members, employees, and I appreciate every opportunity to interact and engage with you, because it's in these semi-social circumstances we learn the most about what you think, and sometimes where we get some of the best suggestions. Being a leader in this community has best been started at the ground level. For the most part, our council members have come from real, active, and engaged involvements benefiting their neighbors and our community. Home days, CERT, Dad's Club, Neighbor to Neighbor, regular attendance at council meetings, involvements that directly benefit us all. I want you to also recognize that our elected officials are not the only ones who are engaged in your service. It involves our spouses and families as well, and I would be remiss would I not pay tribute to my wife Judy and kids, and yes, they were kids when I started, and the spouses and the children of our members of council who constantly not only give up time with us, but give of their time as well. When I get calls to address an issue in the evening, many times Judy comes with me. At our events, you will see our spouses dishing ice cream, setting up before, cleaning up after, helping on shred day, and in hundreds of other ways. Having first been elected to office as a councilman in 1989 and being active in city affairs for nearly 5 years before that, I've seen it all in the workings of our city firsthand. I've seen the political, the salacious, the agreeable, and the contentious in my 30-plus years. I think right now, at this moment, our organization is at its best. it's at its most responsive, and that there is much more to come. I thank you for your attendance this evening, for your interest and for your part in keeping us informed as to what you think is best for our community. Thank you. We do have time for questions, and we do have a microphone over here to my left. So if anyone has a question, have at it. Or I can have a councilman run around with a microphone if you'd like. I'll just pull back so I can see.
Yes, I have a question about the water quality. Water quality?
Okay.
Yeah, I hope it can be answered here.
Okay, could we get your name and address, please?
Yes, my name is Maurice Amon. I live on Dogwood Trail,
Okay.
4th Ward. The question is about brown water that we've had ever since we moved there for 3 years. Recently there was a few months ago, we received a survey in the mail about water quality, and we also see crews coming and opening fire hydrants to purge the lines, so we're not the only ones experiencing this. So I wanted to know what's the plan about this problem and what came out of this survey.
Well, the survey did show, that's fine. The survey did show that there were a number of residents in that end of your street that were having issues, and our engineer is working with Cleveland Water. It was not a project that was rated high enough this year by Cleveland Water standards for remediation. So they've been testing a lot of valves to see if they can do something to impact temporarily the quality before the lines can be replaced. But that's all we know at this point. They don't know yet. They have not told us. They have not told us it's not safe. They've been testing it. But it is not good. Yes?
Oh, my dear. We're talking about deers.
Yes.
We had a couple Lyme disease infections in the neighborhood. I'm Dick Geyer, 4875 Countryside. And they are really a hazard. I mean, I have heard of them this past winter. They're smart because I've had to have new furnace put in with these horizontal pipes. And they take turns warming themselves. And they're not dumb. In fact, the last one I saw was about the same distance from you and I. And they sort of told me to get off my property. But on top of that, they've done a great job of destroying the hedges in the property. I mean, I'm talking of thousands of dollars in regards to eat everything below 6 feet. And on top of that, a year ago, I guess about a year and a half ago, one went across Mayfield and then did a 190-degree turn. And I missed it by about 1.5 feet. And I've seen them cross Mayfield and Richmond. And they don't go by the pedestrian walk, they crisscross sometimes. So last I heard we had 7 deer, and I wanted to see or hear how we are going to mitigate the problem. We've talked about this for a long period of time, and I know the animal lovers, and if I see a deer's eyes, I feel sorry for it. But there must be some way of herding these deers and taking them to a different direction, whether it be the food center downtown or some other place. So I'd like your comments as to what you think might work.
I knew deer were going to come up this evening. It is a large and growing problem. We are one of the few cities, well, the only city besides Pepper Pike in our area that does anything with regard to wildlife management. We have had a wildlife management program each year since 2016. This year last year we changed things up, did not do the program we had done previously, but we will be employing sharpshooters to do this instead of the previous program. Since 2008, there's been allowed hunting on Mayfield Country Club. That is with the permission of the club and permit from the city. And the Acacia Reservation Metro Parks also does wildlife management on their property probably 3 times a year. So, we do recognize the challenge, and I ask everybody to recognize the challenge of our footprint. We are a pretty built-out community, so the opportunities for the type of programs that are run in communities that have 1-acre lots or 2-acre lots, has to be different. And but we are trying.
When are you starting?
The program, the permit that the city was granted was from November through the end of March.
What's the goal number to have the city?
The goal was, I believe, 7 per square mile, which would equate to about 30. That's, unattainable. All right, does anybody else have a question? Yes, sorry.
I've only been a resident here for a couple of years, so I don't really understand NOPEC, but I'm sure a lot of you, I live over on Thornbury, my name is Lisa Garvin. There were some Constellation people very aggressively going up and down the streets. I don't know if any of y'all got, tagged by them.
I got complaints. So.
Right, so he kind of forced my mother to sign up. She's older, and I don't understand how NOPEC is like a variable rate, or how do you?
Well, NOPEC. I mean, I'm not selling anybody on any program. The PUCO has an apples to apples comparison on their website. If you go on the PUCO apples to apples, Google that, it'll come up. But NOPEC has several different programs. They have a variable rate program, they have a fixed rate program, and they have a green program. So you can actually buy your energy through NOPEC, and it is certified 100% green, wind or solar generated. So, and right now it's not a gouging rate. The one thing that I tell residents, number one, I don't want anybody being harassed. I hate, if you have to work that hard and be a bully to sell your product, it's probably not worth buying. We've actually entertained, getting a do not knock program where residents can sign up, and it's a registry, and when the people who are going to be soliciting register with the city to solicit, they're handed a list of doors that they may not knock on. And if you get enough of them, they'll feel that it's not really conducive to working in the neighborhood.
And that registry exists?
It does. We have not signed. We have not chosen to go with it. It is actually through NOPEC, and I kind of am on the fence whether that's a little selfish on their part, but it is something that people voluntarily would sign up for. That okay, I don't want people beating on my door. We do also have a no solicitation ordinance, and we do have free no solicitation stickers if you're interested.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if that helps. I have a guy, bless his heart, he comes from the church over there, Ridgebury in Richmond, and he visits me about once a week.
Doesn't typically deter religious or political, but solicitors who register with the city, they are told on the front end, number one, you have to wear your identification, okay? Number two, you cannot, there is an ordinance, you cannot knock on doors where they're posted yellow stickers.
That yellow sticker is,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
And I also have one quick question, kind of dovetailing with the deer. I've heard 2 different things. Is it illegal to feed the deer?
Yes, it is illegal in the city of Lyndhurst to feed the deer.
Okay, thank you. Just, yeah, my neighbor's doing it.
And you just told me that.
want to talk about the trees. The cherry trees, 5 on my block were cut down last year. I counted about 15 around the neighborhood. That really changes what this neighborhood looks like. Those trees are gorgeous. I see them all over our community. I see them all over Beechwood. I was told by our arbiter that, am I saying the right word?
Arborist.
Arborist, that there is a disease on these trees, which I clearly don't understand. Number one, if there were a disease going on and you had to cut trees, I would assume you would inform the community. Number two, if one tree right here got the disease, how is it that the one right next to it does not have this disease? So
I'm not sure if Mr. Fiorio has an answer to that.
He didn't.
He doesn't?
No.
He's hiding behind you, I don't know.
What that was is fire blight.
Fire blight?
Fire blight.
Some disease, yes, we talked.
Okay.
And they have been replaced, but I'm sure not with the beautiful blooming trees.
What did you get?
What did we get?
We planted probably 20 species, I don't know.
Well, he was told we're not doing
I mean, we do take our trees very seriously.
Yeah.
We don't cut down trees indiscriminately. You know, I mean, I have a tree on my tree lawn. It doesn't look great. It's not in great. The trunk is in, kind of in bad shape, but it's healthy, and so they're not going to cut it down right away because it's healthy.
I would assume if there was some kind of fire blight, you would let us know what was going on by letter or somehow.
Well, okay. We can put it in the magazine or in the e-news.
That would be good.
I don't know the breadth of the impact, whether it's only impacting that species that the city was planting. Back in the day, you'd have an entire street planted with oak, or an entire street planted with ash, or an entire street planted with elm, which wasn't very prudent when, emerald ash borer came along, or the elm disease came along, and entire streets were, rendered naked because all the same trees. So we do mix up the species, as Tony said. We planted about 22 different species, and it really is a trick sending all the letters to the residents who are getting specific trees, because it tells them what tree they got, and keeping all those in order as I'm signing them.
Just that you're cutting them down. I'd like to be informed. That would be the part. Okay. Let's move on. I got a letter this week about sidewalk.
Yes.
I don't know what this letter says. If there's a map, it doesn't point out what blocks they're talking about. It says they're charging me. I
Let me
can
see
call. I did call.
And we can talk about it afterward. Well, this is your existing walk, and the A's are tree roots, okay? The B is a change in level. So the tree roots cause a change in level, and in situations where a city-owned tree causes a change in level, the city is going to participate 50% in the remedy. 25 square feet. All right, anybody else have questions? Yes? Would I care to comment on the progress of the nursing home that's being built on Gray Road? What if I said no? The progress is behind. I spoke with the owner in February, and he said that he had a commitment from the contractor that it would be June when they would be handing it over. They haven't even started on the second wing. They've been doing a lot of site work, but it's probably at least 4 months behind right now. And he's toyed with firing them. But as we've experienced in our own conversations with our project, in going out to engage contractors, it's pretty tight out there finding skilled people, because there's a lot of building activity going on in our area.
lots. Anybody else? Going once? Yes?
I would like to compliment whoever does the calls to the residences regarding problems, weather, this, that, the other. It's on a 440 number. We don't answer 440 unless we see a name. We don't say Lyndhurst, but they do have a message that can be recorded on your answering machine, and that's what tells you that it was good, you know, whatever is going to happen, you have an idea.
Thank you.
Whoever does that.
It's either me or one of our dispatchers.
It's really done well.
Thank you.
I don't know about cell phones, but landlines.
Our outreach, our emergency 911 system can be signed up for emergency notifications only or all notifications. So if you got a call about this event, that would be that you're signed up for all. When we're calling out for an event such as Home Day or this or Council Coffee, we only do the opt-ins, those people who have voluntarily said, we want all notifications. People who are getting 911, we reserve that for emergency notifications only. So, but you can sign up via our website and you can modify. If you didn't get a call about this event, you want calls about any type of event, we don't use it indiscriminately, but it is an important tool for the community. We're happy to get you updated, and there's probably information about that in the magazine as well. Anybody else?
You guys one time dovetailing off of the nursing home thing. What is going to be the traffic pattern there? Are people going to be coming down Beaconsfield, or are they going to be coming down Ray? I mean, a lot of people are selling their houses there because they're afraid of the traffic. And how it's going to affect. I mean, how are people going to be directed? You know what I mean? What's going to be the traffic pattern?
Well, the entrance is only going to be on Ray Road.
Okay.
There is no...
There's no side entrance or...
Absolutely none. Anyone who wants to come and see the plans, we have them. But that little single lot, we don't even know why they kept it. We were thinking they were going to sell that lot. They may just do that because it's a residential size lot that can, have a home built on it. So that may be something that they do afterwards. Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned a police responding to about 7,000 incidents.
Yes.
This year, is that up or down or last?
It's up just slightly.
And do you know what the breakout of the incidents are? How many are?
I have that, but I didn't take the entire. We'd be here all week if I were to break down. But I have a very detailed report with how many calls were for this, that, and the other thing. It is, pretty detailed graph. So happy to, that's in my annual report that I received from the department. It's just, it would have been a lot of information to try and, put out. Yes, Peggy. Are we going to do anything about rentals in the city as far as charging more for registration or raising fees? That is something that's being studied right now between our prosecutor and our director of law. We, are looking at the inspection protocol, what legislatively needs to be done to support that. There are several court cases that are going on that don't involve Lyndhurst, but we're watching the activities. So right now we're registering rentals, but we're not inspecting unless people want them inspected. If I had a rental property and I wanted to be able to tell a prospective tenant that, hey, this property's been inspected by the city and it's in really good shape, I'd actually want to access that. Not everybody wants that. So, yes, sir.
Mayor, what's the population of Lyndhurst and where do we rank with the 5 or 6 surrounding suburbs?
We are at 13,947, I believe, the last count I saw.
And South Euclid, Mayfield Heights have more residents than we do. South Euclid is probably about 20, and Mayfield Heights about 22,000. Highland Heights, I think, is about 7,500. But you know, our population is going down. People are not having as many children. We have a lot of older residents. You know, we have great housing stock here. We have great housing stock for people who want to maintain themselves in their own homes, and many of our residents do. Our population, as you heard, our life expectancy is 88 years old. I mean, it's referenced by university hospitals in their presentations that, hey, Lyndhurst should live to 88 years old. You know, come here. We've got it. We've got the secret for growing old.
We have all the population.
Yes. Yes, we do. Anyone else? Yes.
Take this opportunity to thank the mayor and council for their efforts